Hello. Hello, everybody. So, we are live, okay? I am Mohini, your host for the evening today, and a big warm welcome to all my incredible children out here on behalf of PSTV. We are live one another time to give you an episode, a session filled with fun, filled with learning and engagement. So, welcome to each one of you. So, how have my lovely children been doing? How's the day been so far? Come on, send me a reaction in the chat box, guys, before we dive right in, before we start our session. All right, so it's been great. Okay, okay. I get a lot of smileys. Lovely, brilliant. Yeah, okay. So, keep that energy going, guys. And you know what? Tell me, have you done anything interesting from the morning today? Anything interesting? Come on. So they say, no, not really, not really. Okay, so these are the reactions. But you know what, guys? I have a plan. I have a plan for us, for you, and for me. That we are going to do something interesting today. It's so welcome to another interesting episode packed with a lot of learning at PSTV once more. All right, so let's just move forward, guys, and that is the topic for today's discussion. What are we going to be discussing about today? We are going to be discussing about recording and distributing a podcast. All right. We will take this topic in details and we will have a inland discussion on the same. Yeah. Okay. And now moving ahead, what's happening? So, just to tell you, what do we have in store for you? And I think you know the format of the show by now. Everybody knows that, and you're comfortable with it. Are you liking the format of the show, guys? Come on, a thumbs up or any smileys. Wow, wow. So thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. Great, great, brilliant. I have such an incredible audience. Yeah. So, breaking the ice. As usual, the icebreakers, which is definitely everybody's favorite by now. I've got to know that. Okay. Then we move on to today's task. We're going to discuss what the task is going to be about. All right. Then further on, how to record a podcast. I will do this in a little detail. How do you go about recording your podcast? All right. Then again, tips to record better. Now, there are a lot of tips here and there, but I will give you pinpointedly some tips as to how you can make your podcast recording effective. How can you record better? All right. Then, of course, moving ahead, we will have the fun activity, guys, which is very important. Okay. And then again, I will also be touching upon slightly regarding distributing your podcast. Okay, so it will be about be giving you something about distributing your podcast, and we just discuss that in a little short. And maybe in the next coming sessions, I will be taking that up in a little more detail. All right, okay. And of course, the new activity that I introduced yesterday. Here's a riddle. Yes. So we will be, yeah, and I can see a show of hands for that. Wow, great, guys. Okay, so here's a riddle. We will be doing here's a riddle today also. And you can thank me for that. Of course, we will post that. We will be having an exercise, okay? And definitely before we close the session, it is going to be about a recap of the learnings, all right? Okay. So, guys, now it is time to break the ice, all right? So, the first question for break the ice. This says, if you could learn any animal language, what would it be? Yeah? If you could learn any animal language, what would it be? Have you ever thought about this, guys? So everybody says, okay, so I get a no, no, no. All right. Nobody thought about this. All don't think about such things. And that's the reason I put these questions forward because I want you to think, all right, before we dive into and before we take the plunge with all the details regarding podcasting, I want you to start thinking. I want that process to start. So think, guys, if you could learn any animal language, what would it be? Okay, so I get one answer from here saying lion. Okay, so Athar wants to learn the roar of the lion. Okay, the king of the jungle. Yes, and he says it's because he wants everybody to listen to him. My God. Okay, that's a good thought. All right. Okay, then yeah, birds. I think I would also go with that answer. Maybe even I would learn the birds' language because everybody loves their voices. Yeah, so definitely. Okay. And moving on, I can see the wolf. Oh my god, you want to scare people away, Sahil? Okay. So scare away everybody basically with the wolf. All right. Okay, and there's one very interesting answer, and it comes from Jahan here. He says, the hen, cock a doodle doo, yeah. Okay, and he says it is because he wants to postpone his waking up time, yeah. Okay, so maybe he will ensure that he does not, come up with the sound early in the morning and he comes at the same time. He starts the sound at the same time, at the time that he wants to get up. Is that the case, Jahan? Yes, and he gives a thumbs up. All right. So that's an interesting answer. I love that thought. Okay. So basically, he's going to copy and he's going to learn the animal language of the hen. Wow. Such interesting answers. Lovely, guys. Okay. This is wonderful. So moving on to our next question. What is your most used emoji? Okay. What is your most used emoji? I kind of know this because we've been doing emojis and I've been asking you to send me emojis. So I kind of know who uses what emoji by now in this group. But then definitely you have to tell me which is your favorite. Okay. And before that, I'll tell you my favorite. My favorite is usually, the thumbs up or the smiley. I usually send that in my chats or in my messages. I do that a lot. I use those smileys a lot. Okay. And I wonder what would life be without these smileys. By now we've been so tech savvy and so into our phones and everything. I don't know how life would be. But nevertheless, tell me, what is your favorite emoji? Okay, so I'm getting a thumbs up. I get the eyes roll. Okay, I get the anger sign here. I get the smile and the bigger smile, the grin basically. Okay, the high five, all right. The fire emoji, yes, I know that's a favorite. Okay, the dance, the heart emoji, wow. Okay, the cool, the glasses emoji, I like that emoji, huh? The think emoji, yes. Okay, lovely. All right, and the eyes closed, okay, the eyes shut, yes, with both hands, all right. Tongue out emoji, interesting, guys, all right, and this is great. Okay, and this is so much fun. Yeah, you guys having fun? Come on. Yes. And I get all those emojis, like a double, triple times of the emojis. Wow. All right, so moving on. Another break the ice question. What movie or TV show title describes your week? Best describes your week. All right, best. Okay, so the questions here are like the last week. Okay, so make it this way: that what movie or TV show title best describes your last week, like the week that we had this week. Okay, so there are answers like there's somebody who says brainchild, all right. There's somebody who says Looney Tunes, okay. Tom and Jerry, because I've been fighting with my sibling. That's an interesting answer. Okay, and then somebody, Ria, says Finding Nemo, and she says it means finding Ria. Wow. Through these podcasting sessions at PSTV. I give you a heart emoji for that, Ria. That's lovely. That's a beautiful thought. And thank you guys for all that love to PSTV. Okay, and Sheba says Frozen. When I watch PSTV, that's what she's written. That when I watch PSTV, I'm frozen. Thank you so much, Sheba. And I'm at a loss of words for all the love that you guys are showering on us. But don't be frozen. I need you to think. Okay, I need you to look here and I need you to watch and think. All right. Okay, so the sound of music, yes, definitely. All my podcasters in the making, we are in the process of creating such amazing music through our voices, right? Yes. Okay. So the boy who harnessed the wind. Wow, Kabir, I like that thought. Is that like a movie on Netflix? Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think I should even watch it. I've seen a lot. I've heard a lot about it, but I've not been able to watch it. So that's the next one on my list. All right. Thank you for such lovely, amazing answers, guys. And the next, break the ice. All right. So, what is the strangest gift you have ever received? Yeah, the strangest gift. I mean, we all love our birthday gifts and we all love a lot of things that we receive, all right? But there are a number of times that you must have received some strange gifts. So, come on, let's talk about this. What are the strangest gifts that you have received? And I can already see answers popping up. There's one which says box of pencils because, she said that because I always keep borrowing. Yeah, is it Dhruv? So you always keep borrowing, and that's the reason somebody actually gifted you a box of pencils so that you don't borrow. Okay, lovely. All right, that's a very strange gift, definitely. So somebody says a school project in geography. Oh my God! So somebody actually gifted you a school project. Brilliant. Okay, that's a brilliant gift thought, I would say. So there's board game with basically missing pieces. So you had a board game with missing pieces. My God, a box of cereals? Actually, can you give somebody a box of cereals? That's illegal, guys. Is it? Okay, all right. Now, then there's okay. Somebody says somebody got a brick on his builder birthday. Really? Oh my god. Okay. Then there's somebody who's gotten wrapping paper. Okay. Somebody's got an empty box. Okay, guys, I'll tell you. My god, these are such interesting answers. But I'll tell you about the strangest gift that I got. It was from my son. He got an envelope with some cut pieces in it, and he closed the envelope and he gave it to me in my hand. And I wondered, he said, "This is a gift for you." I was very excited. I opened the envelope. Obviously, I didn't show it to him that what was this, but I said I loved the gift because that's how you have to deal with kids. But that time I felt it was a strange gift. But the afterthought was that he had just started to learn how to, use the scissors. And he had cut these little pieces on his own in school, and he had actually got it in an envelope. He had saved all those little pieces and give it to me, and I think it was the most beautiful gift that I've actually received. So at first it sounded a little strange, it looked a little strange to me, but it was a beautiful gift. Yes, thank you for the thumbs up. Yes, I think that was a very beautiful gift. All right, so enough of the strange gifts. Okay, I've got some really interesting answers from all of you here. Lovely. Okay, now if you could immediately gain one skill, okay, immediately, like quickly, gain one skill, guys, what would it be? Come on, think on this, okay? So somebody says solving maths problems. I somehow knew this would come up with this batch. Yeah, solving maths problems, mental maths, yes, drawing, okay, creative writing, really? Okay, so then maybe Adhar, you're doing the public speaking classes, you should also try out the creative writing classes at PlanetSpark. They are brilliant. Okay, I'm a creative writing expert myself, and these classes really work for the students. So you should, if you want to learn that skill immediately. Okay, all right. Then there's photography. Then there's craft. Okay, wow. And Shreya, this is so beautiful. The skill of kindness. Yes, guys, kindness is a skill, it's a virtue. And that's a beautiful thought, Shreya. I love that thought. Keep that going. The skill of kindness, I think everybody should learn that skill. Yeah. Okay, podcasting, and that's why you're here. All right. Wow. So amazing answers, guys. And I've had a riot with the Break the Ice today. Did you have a riot? Did you enjoy yourself? Yes, okay, give me a yes, yes, yes in the chat box, and my chat box is bombarded. Yes, 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 that's all I can see right now. Brilliant, guys. Keep that up, keep the energy going. All right. So now we are done with the break the ice, but that doesn't mean that we're done with the fun. There's a lot of other fun things ahead for you. Okay. So let us just move on with today's task. Okay. So today's task is about recording and publishing a podcast. Like I mentioned at the start of the episode, that we will be discussing about recording and publishing a podcast. Further on, to break that down, recording tools and guidelines, we'll be discussing about that. And we will be discussing about best platforms to distribute the podcast. Okay. Where do you go and distribute the podcast? All right. Like I mentioned, I will be only touching upon briefly regarding the distribution. All right. Okay, so moving ahead, how to record a podcast. Yes, it is record time, my little children. It is record time, my podcasters in the making. So now you want to record a podcast, but you don't know how. How do I go ahead? But surprisingly, all of you, okay, this entire splendid batch, it's easier than you think. It's much easier than you think, and it's nothing. Here's everything, and I'm giving you out everything that you know to start your very own podcast, okay, and in the easiest, in the simplest of ways. All right, so I'm right here giving it out to each one of you. All right, so all yours, guys. Using the Anchor platform. I discussed Anchor in detail yesterday. Yeah, I did. Okay, so can you give me a thumbs up? How many of you have gone and how many of you have actually seen Anchor? Have you seen Anchor, the app or anything? Yes, I get a lot of thumbs up. So good. That means that you guys are excited. All right. Okay. So now, using the Anchor platform, all right, we discussed this in detail yesterday. Use the Anchor app to record fine quality audio, okay, as we've discussed in the previous session. All right, then you install the app on the device, okay, be it on your laptop or on your smartphones, wherever you want to, and wherever you want to go ahead with the recording, wherever it's comfortable. All right, so you install the app here. Then you sign up on Anchor using your email or contact number. So it'll give you an option there. So you can just put in your email address, or you can put in your contact number there, and you can sign up on Anchor. All right. It's very simple, guys. It's nothing. All right. Then tap the plus icon. You'll see a plus sign icon on the bottom of the screen. You tap there on that icon. Okay, and then tap the record button on the bottom of the screen to record. And it's as simple as that. You tap the record button on the bottom of the screen to record. Okay, so Atharv, Sheetal, all these people are saying one more time. All right, so I'll go one more time with this. Okay, we just do it quickly, guys, again. All right. Okay, so first, what you do need to do is that you need to install the app on the device. You install the app on the device as step number one that you're using for recording. Okay, then you sign up on Anchor using your email or your contact number. All right, you do that. Put in your email, put in the contact number, and you sign up on Anchor. The third is that you tap the plus icon on the bottom of the screen. All right, on the bottom of the screen, you tap the plus icon. After that, what you do? Then you tap the record button on the bottom of the screen. You tap the record button right at the bottom of the screen. You'll be able to see record. All right, just tap on it. Okay, and save it. After that, the last step is just save it. And isn't it easy, guys? Come on. Give me a high five, a show of hands, your favorite emoji, anything to say that it is easy. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, lovely. Yes, it is easy. It's nothing. It's simple. So try doing this, okay? And after that, just the last step is that save it when you're done. All right? Okay, so let's move on. Now, there are some tips to record a podcast. Okay. So the first one is what to avoid. What do you need to avoid while you're recording a podcast? Now, if you've ever yelled into a cave or a tunnel, you know that the sound waves that you reflect off the walls and they come back with vengeance. Okay. All right. So tell me, how many of you have actually done that? Yelling in a cave or a tunnel or empty spaces? Yeah, most of you have, even I have. Okay, we've all done that, to just to experience the adrenaline rush. Okay, so that echo you get from speaking in a large empty room. All right, that is the echo that you get. And trust me, guys, when you are doing your recording of when you're recording the podcast, that is something that you would definitely want to avoid. Okay, and I know that everybody's at home, in high probability you will be recording your podcast from your places. So you have to really be careful about this echo. Okay, this is something that you do not want to be a part of your podcast, definitely. Okay, so the echo has to be avoided. All right. Now, again, treating the room. I'll tell you what this means, okay? To make your designated recording area fit to work with the audio, what you need to do is that you have to, like I mentioned, you have to you have to try and minimize the echoes and the sound reflections. And this entire process, wherein you're putting things in the room and you're treating your room basically, and it'll make so much of a difference to your podcast, okay, to the final finished product. What you get as a final finished product will be a polished podcast, guys, without the echoes, without the sound reflections. And this entire process of how you set up the room and what are the little changes that you need to make in your room, this is actually called treating the room. All right, it's a very interesting concept. So please, all ears here and listen to this very carefully. It's going to go a long way in helping you to record that podcast. Okay, so treating the room, guys, and moving on. Okay, so the bass traps, all right. Arguably, what are bass traps? Have you heard? Come on, any guesses, guys? Come on, any guesses? Tell me, what are they? What are they? Okay, so the energy absorbers, correct? Absolutely, bang on. That is, they are the energy absorbers, all right, and they're designed to damp low frequency sound energy. Okay, yes, they are designed to dampen the low frequency sound energy, and they instantly improve the sound of music. You can see these in home theaters and in recording studios. Okay, so the most important thing you need to do is to make sure that your sound can't bounce around the corners of your room. And I'll tell you this with personal experience. When I started on my journey as a podcaster, I started it with a friend, and we were like, it was like a co host, all right? And what used to happen is that a lot of echo used to come in. We recorded the first episode, the second episode, and we checked. And this is something that really helped me. So I'm definitely suggesting this, okay? And what will happen is that your microphone can pick up the slightest of sounds. Don't let that happen, all right? Especially when you're recording, okay? So when you add these traps to the corner of whatever room you're recording in, it will stop the sound waves from reflecting off the corners, okay? And it'll make it much easier for your microphone to only pick up your voice and not pick up the echoes and whatever reverbs are there in the room. So the microphone will just pick up your voice and the other echoes will be faded out, all right? So definitely try this out, okay? Moving on to the next tip. Yes, foam. Yes. And you know what? Once you've actually got the corners treated, the next thing you might want to do is to make sure that the flat surface in the room are similarly covered with foam. Foam really helps absorb the sound waves and keep them, they can really help these sound waves from reflecting back into the microphone. Okay. They can keep them from reflecting back into the microphone. All right. So all those foam pieces that are lying around the house, you can use them now. You can put them to good use. Foam will really help you cover up for all these, background noises and all the echoes and everything around you. And it will help your podcast to be a smooth one, the recording to be a smooth one. All right. So this is when the squares of foam that you see all over the house, they're going to come handy, guys. Okay. So this is another, it's like a DIY trip, tip that I'm giving to all of you all right here. So use the foam. Okay. Now the next one, furniture and rugs. Now, even if you really can't get your hands on any foam and can't find it, it's all right. Okay. And there's one sure shot to treat a room. It isn't the only way, definitely. It's not like the foam is the short way. And just that you just have like some basic furniture in the room, okay? And it can seriously reduce reverb, like the basic furniture that you have in the room, something like a couch, like the bed, even some rugs lying here and there on the floor. It can actually help you reduce the echoes, the sound, the background noises, okay? So just having these furniture and just ensure that it's not like a big empty room. Okay, you have some furniture, some rugs lying here and there in the room. It will help you reduce all the reverbs, all the echoes in the room. Okay. So is that a thumbs up for that? Have you guys understood? Okay. Please give me a thumbs up, guys. I hope you're understanding all of this. It's very important. Yes. Wow. So many thumbs up. Thank you. All right. Blanket forts. And tell me how many of you have played with blanket forts, and actually do play. Yeah? So you make like a fort of the blankets and everything. Yes. With your bed sheets and you make a fort. Yes. And you know what, guys? I'll give this out to you. Never underestimate the power of a good blanket fort. Okay. If everything else fails, you don't have foam there, you don't have the bass strap there, nothing, all right, the base strap there, and nothing, all right. So then what will come to your rescue? It is going to be just a blanket. Just toss a blanket over your head while you're recording, okay? And trust me, it will actually muffle the reflecting sound waves, and it'll be and it's something that can work wonders, definitely, all right. And you know what, guys? I'll tell you an interesting fact. It is being used by professional reporters who are recording in this field, in the podcasting field. All right, it has been actually, used. And trust me, as beginners, this is like the easiest way to go ahead with, and it works wonders. Just don't suffocate yourself in the blanket, definitely. But yes, having this on top really helps. Like a blanket fort really helps, and it really helps taking control over the echoes and the sound waves. All right. So you can definitely try this, a blanket fort, and it's simple. All these are things that are available around you. There's nothing to it, nothing very complicated, right? So did you like that idea, guys? Come on, show of hands, anything. Wow. Okay. All right. Thank you, all my lovely people out here. Okay. So one more tip is that turn off any air conditioners. I mentioned to you about my podcasting journey. This was another experience that we have. My friend was apparently staying in a very hot place wherein the fan was on full speed and the air condition was on, and we could not understand what was going wrong. What went wrong? We recorded episode 1, episode 2, episode 3. We recorded 3 episodes. I categorically remember that. And there was something that was coming in the middle. There was something. We were both speaking very fluently. We were having a good time. It was a good content based podcast about life. And what was going wrong, we couldn't understand. So just one fine day, on the day that we were recording, re-recording our episode 1, because we didn't want to put this forward to the audiences, she just had an idea. She said, okay, let's just do something. Let me just turn off anything that's in the room right now. Maybe something is creating a noise and we didn't know. And we did turn off the AC, and the voice vanished. Okay, the echo, the whatever, the voice that we could hear, the irritating sound that we could hear, that actually vanished. So the low humming of an AC or a fan can be really distracting, guys, especially for your listeners. Ear fatigue, yes, that term. How many of you remember from yesterday's session? Lovely, everybody remembers. Wow, yeah, good. Okay, so not to mention that it can cause a noticeable separation in audio if there are more than one person on the podcast. It definitely does. So, one person can have like the pristine, perfect audio, but every time the second person talks, every time the person whose air conditioner is on, basically, all you hear is a loud air conditioner in the background. And guys, it can be super annoying. Don't you think so? Come on, yes, it can be super annoying. So the last and the final tip is that turn off any air conditions. Please, any air conditioners that you have. Don't keep them on while you're recording. Okay. All right. And did you like those tips, guys? Can I get a show of hands? Yes, yes, yes. Or maybe just like type yes, yes. I get yes, yes, yes. I get thumbs up. I get high fives. Okay, so great tips, and I think they're very, very doable tips, right? Yeah. Okay. So, oh, fun activity. Here we go. So it's fun time, guys. Yes, brace yourselves. It's quiz time. Okay, quiz time, everybody. All right. So the fun time. Whose nose grew longer every time he lied? Come on. I think this is very easy. Yeah, yeah, I can see that. I can see my screen is full of the correct answer, and I'll give it to you like really soon. This one is an easy one. It is Pinocchio. Pinocchio, Geppetto. I mean, all of us have heard this story and we're in love with the story, right? Pinocchio. Yes. All right. Well done. Well done. Okay, moving on. Which Disney movie is Elsa in? Which Disney movie is Elsa a part of? All right. Okay, so I'm getting Cinderella. I'm getting Tangled. Okay, and I'm getting Frozen. Cinderella again, Tangled. All right. So the correct answer is Frozen, guys. Elsa is from Frozen. Yes. Yeah. A lot of you got that right also. Yeah. Isn't this easy? Yeah. Okay. And are you having a good time? Come on. One more time. Full energy, guys. Lovely. Okay. So, this one, the next question is, what type of fish is Nemo? Finding Nemo? Yes. Ria, I remember that answer. Huh? Okay. So, what type of fish is Nemo, guys? Okay. So, I get the regal tang. Okay. There's a puffer fish. There's a goldfish there. All right. There's a yellow tang. No. Okay. Let me see. Let me see. There's a catfish also there. Okay. There's a clownfish there. Okay. Now let me see the answer. It is a clownfish. Okay. All right. The puffer fish was bloat in Nemo. I know that story. Okay. So I know that story. All right. And the yellow tang, by the way, was Bubbles. Okay. So I'll give that out to you. All right, lovely guys. Thank you for such active participation. Everybody is so actively responding, and I'm so glad. All right, moving on. What is the name of Harry Potter's pet owl? Come on. I think this group is like a huge Harry Potter fan because I can see these answers popping and okay, all right. And I think I'll have to give it to you guys because all of you are right. Yes, it is Hedwig. Yes. My God, my Harry Potter fans. All right. So moving on, the next question. What is the name of Mickey Mouse's pet dog? So what's his pet dog's name? Mickey Mouse. What is his pet dog's name? Okay, so I'm getting Goofy here. I'm getting Pluto here. I can see Scooby here. So there's Goofy, there's Goofy, there's Goofy, there's Pluto, there's Scooby. Okay, these are the only few answers that I see. More or less, everybody is here. And it is Pluto, guys. It's not Goofy, it's not Scooby, it is Pluto. All right, that is the correct answer. Mickey Mouse Clubhouse, yes. So, did you have a fun time? Come on, tell me, everybody, did you enjoy the quizzes for today? It was all Disney based, huh? All cartoon based, yeah? Okay, yes, 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 yes. And everybody writes in yes. And thank you. Thank you, everybody. Thank you so much. You've been such a marvelous audience, everybody. Okay, moving on. All right. So now we've come to the other part, is the distributing your podcast. Okay. Like I mentioned, we will be just touching upon distributing your podcast. How do you go about distributing your podcast? All right. So here we go. What is podcast distribution? Come on, what is podcast distribution? Okay, sharing, promoting, putting forward. Okay, sharing. Yes. So all of you are more or less on the same track. You're on the same page. Distribution is when you share your podcast on various listening apps. There are a number of apps. There is Spotify, there is Google Podcast, there is Apple Podcast. And definitely, when you are putting a podcast together, you will be distributing it. You will be putting it forward to these listening apps, on these listening apps. And it helps you reach a larger audience, a larger listener group. Definitely. Okay. So moving on, where all can you distribute your podcast to now? So I'm giving you some options here wherein you can, log in and you can distribute your podcast. You can go on to Spotify. All right. Then there is Apple Podcast, there is Breaker, there's Castbox, there is Google Podcast, there is Overcast, there's Pocket Cast, there's Radio Public. So if you can just take a note of all this is all the places where you can go and you can distribute your podcast to. All right. Okay. So these are all all like the listening apps that sorry and the listening apps that I have mentioned out here, and you can just take a note of all these apps where you can go and you can distribute your podcast to. Yeah, has everybody done that? Can you show me a thumbs up? Thumbs up. Okay, thank you guys, thank you. So let us move on. All right. And now, what do you have to make sure, before you go ahead with the distribution, that your podcast consists? There's some things that you need to do a check with, make a checkbox and do a checkbox with all these things, that these things are important to be as a part of your podcast. The first and foremost thing is your podcast name, guys. Okay. The podcast name is very important. It doesn't, it depends on you what you want to go ahead with, whatever name that you choose for your podcast. So that is something that you will be putting forward, the podcast name. Okay. Then moving on, the podcast description, which is that what is my podcast all about? Okay. You will be describing the description, the podcast description, describing what the podcast is all about. You will see a column there. Okay. When you're trying to distribute your podcast and you are trying to register it on these listening apps, you'll have a column there. Description, you'll have to put forward a description, what it is about and what are your goals with the podcast, and what basically what it is about. All right. Then again, the third pointer is at least one episode. So obviously, when you're distributing a podcast, you don't want to do a point blank podcast with anything. So the more episodes you have, definitely the better it is. Okay, but at least start with one episode. With one episode, and yes, the important point here to remember is that that one episode has to have a title, guys. Okay, please put a title for that. All right. Moving on, the episode description. Again, you will have to describe what each episode stands for, what it is about. Okay, what are you going to talk about in the episode? What have you spoken about? What have you recorded about? All right. So episode description is another important aspect. Then coming to the cover art. What is the cover art? Come on, tell me, what do you understand by cover art? Anything, guys? Any answers? Any answers? Yes, okay. So that is like the picture, the illustration. Yes, right. Picture, art, illustration. Yes. So it is the first thing that your potential listeners will listen. Okay, will actually see when they go to the place where you've distributed your podcast, where you put it forward. All right. That picture is going to show every time your podcast plays. That is the cover art, the illustration of the podcast. All right. And have a picture which gives out a message. Okay, then maybe you can put in your topic there. All right. And definitely that picture, the cover art that you have, please make sure, guys, that it conveys what your podcast is all about, because this is something that is going to remain with the podcast. So every time your listeners log in to hear to your podcast, it's the first thing that they will see, the cover art. So make sure it's catchy, make sure it's colorful, and make sure it's nice, all right? And obviously it delivers a message. And of course, we don't want a very cluttered cover art, all right? We don't want to see something every day that is too cluttered and too many things in the same drawing or on the same page. So don't do that with the cover art. Make it into a neat, crystal clear cover art, all right? So when you're putting up that bit, make it into a clean and crystal clear cover art. All right. So again, just making sure that your podcast contains all of the following: podcast name, podcast description, at least one episode, the episode descriptions definitely there, and finally your cover art. Yeah. Is that clear, everybody? Can I move on? Can you give me a thumbs up? Yes. Wow. Okay. All right. So let us move on. Let us move on. So let's see, what do we have here? Okay. So like I mentioned that more about distribution in the coming episodes. This is just a very brief insight into the distribution, guys. I will be talking about distribution in a little more detail in the forthcoming episodes, definitely. All right. This is just something that I've just touched upon, distribution. Okay. So now, oh yes, our new segment that we started from yesterday. Huh? Here's a riddle, all right? So, a riddle for all my lovely listeners, all my lovely viewers out here. Here's a riddle. Okay, so the first riddle is: I am an odd number. Take away a letter, and I become even. What number am I? I'll read it out one more time for all of you. I am an odd number. Take away a letter and I become even. What number am I? Come on, everybody's okay. So the think emoji is back in business. I can see that. Yes. All right. So Meenal is thinking. Okay. All right. Okay. And here's the answer. It is seven, guys. And I think most of you have got it right. Everybody said 777. So basically, you remove the S and it's even. Right? Okay. Yes. So seven is the answer. Okay, so now time for the next riddle. The next one here. Mary has four daughters, and each of her daughters has a brother. How many children does Mary have? I'll say it one more time. Mary has four daughters, and each of her daughters has a brother. How many children does Mary have? Come on. Okay, so I get eight. I get six. Eight. Is it eight? Really? We all thinking, right? I can see. Yes, everybody's thinking. Wow, guys, think. Okay, so the eight, the six. All right, and here's the answer, guys. Five. Okay, the answer is five because each daughter has the same brother. Yes, each daughter has the same brother. That was the riddle, right? Yeah. Okay, and I get this eyes closed emoji there, right on the top, like four, five, six, seven of them. My God. All right. Okay, guys. So now time for the next riddle. I am the beginning of everything, the end of everywhere. I am the beginning of eternity, the end of time and space. What am I? Come on, I'll read out one more time, okay? Because everybody's like thinking, okay? So I am the beginning of everything, the end of everywhere. I'm the beginning of eternity, the end of time and space. What am I? Come on, tell me. What am I? What am I? Everybody's thinking there are no answers. Everybody's sending me the emojis. You're still thinking, I'll give you a minute. You can think. Come on, guys. It's simple. The beginning of everything, the end of everything, the beginning of eternity, the end of time and space. What am I? What am I? Okay, now I get the answers. Yes. I think it took a little time. Yeah. All right. And the answer is E. It is the letter E, guys. Yes. Yes. Yay. And we're through with the riddles. Did you have a good time? I had a blast doing these riddles with all of you. Okay. And it's always a blast with all my lovely students, all this splendid audience that I have here. Great. Okay, so now let us move on. This is an exercise that I'm going to be allocating for all of you now. I've talked a lot about Anchor in our last episode. Today, also, we discussed a bit of the Anchor. So, I want you to, if you, in case you haven't, I hope you have. In case you haven't, please go on to anchor.fm or the app Anchor. Okay, go on the app and explore the app. And please give me your feedback over mail, all right? I will definitely try and respond to each one of your feedbacks. There's such lovely mails and lovely feedback, and so much love that I'm receiving every day on my mailbox. So, I can't thank you guys enough, but please send me. It really motivates me to, conduct these sessions every day with you guys. So, explore anchor.fm website or the app. Finish recording and saving your podcast. All right, record it, save it. And then the third step is try distributing your podcast using Anchor. I'm stressing on Anchor because I mentioned yesterday it is a very user friendly app, guys. All right, it is a very user friendly app, and it's not going to take too much from you. All right, you're going to enjoy the process. So you'll be learning something in an easy way. Okay, so this is your exercise. I hope everybody's made a note of it. Yeah, have you? Can you give me a thumbs up? Yes, quick thumbs up. Lovely, lovely, lovely. Okay. So, now a quick recap of what we did today. We talked about how to record a podcast, all right? We talked about in detail how to record a podcast, tips for recording a podcast. I hope you remember those DIY tips that I gave you, the tips that you can follow easily, okay? Make sure you use all those tips. Then again, the third was to ways to treat your room, okay? Definitely about the different ways that you can treat your room. Distributing your podcast, and again, distributing your podcast, which I said that I briefly touched upon on, we will do in details later. Okay, and did you guys have a good time today? Did you understand? First and foremostly, just type yes in the chat box quickly in the comment section. Come on, yes, yes, yes. Okay, guys, I'm so happy, I'm elated, and thank you so much for all those lovely responses. And you've been a terrific audience, all right, all of you today. So now, before I take your leave, let's see what's next. What do we have next? Yes, turning your podcast into a brand, guys, all right. So we're going to be taking this up in our next session. We're going to be talking about how can you turn your podcast into a brand, and I'm sure everybody wants to do that. Everybody who's present here, everybody wants to do that, yeah. So this is me. That's, I think that's enough from me today. And it is me, Moini, signing off for today. Till then, all my lovely podcasters in the making, take care, do your homework, and I'll see you soon in the next session. Bye bye.